So again, thank you for attending Liverpool HubSpot User Group. Great to see some familiar faces and new faces joining us at these events, and we hope you get a lot out of today's session as well. Today, we will be doing some intros to anyone new joining us about myself and Sam, our topic for today, and our agency. We will then be moving into our core topic, which is around 5 conversational marketing tactics to engage buyers and grow revenue. At the end, as ever, we will also do a Q&A session, but please pop questions into the chat panel as we go through the session today. Before I introduce myself and Sam here, we just want to say thank you to the rest of the Hug team who you can't see today as they are behind camera. First up, our marketing manager, Meg, who has kindly put these slides together for us today, and Dan, our cameraman, who makes all these live events actually possible. Okay, so our host for today. For those who have not met yet, I'm Johnny, the business development manager here at Fuelius. We are an elite HubSpot agency, and my role here is to essentially support businesses who are using HubSpot to achieve their medium and long-term goals in using the platform. And I also support businesses who are evaluating HubSpot in terms of scoping out the right subscription and implementation plans if they are to take out the platform. I'm joined today by my colleague Sam. Sam, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
I would indeed. So, hey everyone, I'm Sam. I head up implementation here at Fuelius. What my role in today is going to be largely talking to you about how you can apply today's learnings within your own HubSpot portal. So you can come away today with some really actionable takeaways to really revolutionize your approach to conversational marketing. So looking forward to it, Johnny.
Yeah, you're definitely the tech expert in this duo.
The tech expert.
The tech expert. I am merely the host of this session.
That's it.
If you've missed any of our hugs before and you want to catch up, you can do so at any time using our video hub. We also have a YouTube channel with some great tricks and tips on how you can leverage HubSpot to its fullest potential. So I'd strongly recommend subscribing to our YouTube channel and taking a look. And as we always do, I know a lot of people come to this event for this. We are going to be doing a giveaway to the audience alongside what we're talking about. There is an opportunity for one of you guys to win a £20 Amazon gift voucher. We're going to be asking a question at the very end of this session, so make sure you stick around for that. So, on to our main topic today, which is conversational marketing. To start off with, we want to share this visual of MarTech Map for 2022. It's a collaborative initiative by Chief MarTech and MarTech Tribe. We share this quite a lot because it really visualizes the sheer growth of tech solutions in the space. It categorizes a huge 9,932 MarTech solutions. It's really crazy to see this on a grand scale, and the number is just growing and growing. You've seen this map quite a lot.
Have indeed. It's insane, isn't it? It's growing so quickly and so rapidly. How could you keep up?
You know what it does remind me of though?
Go on.
Which I know I've probably told you this before. Do you remember that website back in like the early noughties with that kid that put a web page up there? It was purely for advertising. It was ClickSpace, bit of clickbait, and people paid money for each different pixel. Kind of resembles that a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Do you remember that?
I do actually. Yeah, I think it was like a Chinese website or something like that, where it was like insane, like flashing banners.
I think he was British. All I remember was watching Richard and Judy when I came home from school, and it was one of the main sort of news articles of that programme. That is a massive flashback and shows me age as well. Richard and Judy. Back to the topic today. HubSpot has recently ran a pulse survey to understand the biggest challenges businesses are facing, and the number one pain point is to disconnected systems. It makes sense when you think about it. During the pandemic, companies shifted to a fully digital overnight, and there was a frenzy of buying point solutions. They bought a tool for every task, every team, and every department. As a result, the average scaling company has 242 SaaS tools today. The problem isn't that companies have a lot of tools though, it's that too few are connected. Each has its own data and processes, but there's no one place tying it all together. As a result, companies are spending more and more time connecting data than actually connecting with their customers. They have to spend hours cleaning data and trying to cobble insights together from different systems. What's worse is that their go-to-market teams don't have a unified view of the customer's journey. So they are working in silos and their customer experience is suffering. Now, this is something I imagine, Sam, that you speak to companies every day. Are you pretty surprised, those that aren't on HubSpot, of how many systems they have? Do you see many commonalities?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. So when we speak to different organizations, whether it's an SME, whether it's an enterprise, whether it's in the corp space, it doesn't really matter. I think where we are now is everything is, like you said, it's so digital. I could go away and get a software overnight. It could be the leader in the space, but it might be the leader in the space of what it does, but what's the value of it if it doesn't integrate? And I think what it's causing is really disparate Frankenstein approaches to companies' tech stacks. And the knock-on effect of that is if the data is not shared, then your teams aren't collaborating as well as what they can be. I think that's definitely something that, it might be the best software for its purpose, but it may not be that best piece of software for you as an organization, depending on how your teams work and what your individual processes may be. It happens more frequently than not. It's a fair.
I could see this particularly for maybe new businesses or people growing, or businesses that are growing at a rapid rate. You mainly just put a plaster over the solution with a bit of tech.
Yeah.
Like, I need this now. What's out there? Okay, we'll use that. And then that all of a sudden you can see that growing and growing.
Yeah.
And actually becoming a problem in the long term.
Yeah, it's a very reactive state of play, isn't it? Like you don't. I'd like to think you don't. Is you don't get out of bed on a Wednesday morning going, I need to buy a piece of software today. Software acquisition is a very reactive process, and what you find is these organizations that they will have. Let's use an example, right? Let's use maybe PandaDoc, right? You're a small business. You're doing your first few deals. You realize you need to send a quote. Oh, I need a system for that. I'm going to go and obtain PandaDoc. Now, PandaDoc's a great tool, but what you may find is if you went for something like an alternative, you've not thought because you're just trying to solve that immediate pain point. But then you're not thinking about in 6 months' time, does that software scale as you do?
Yeah.
And it's a consideration that's more in the SME space where, your processes aren't as solidified, where you find that key decision makers or, your C-suite are taking software to alleviate the immediate kind of problem that they're facing. So, it's very reactive. And I think while software is growing at this exponential rate, companies should be looking at a proactive attitude to acquiring software because what's going to cause your organization more pain? A delay in picking the right software or a discrepancy in lost data, lost transmission, lost communication between your teams. And I think when you adopt that mindset of a proactive first, when you're going to source software like you would do in your processes, you're building yourself to succeed, essentially. So, it's definitely a reactive kind of framework, but even this happens in enterprises as well because you're always growing, you're always going into new spaces, things you've not done before, and software can help with that, but you may not know how to approach it.
And different teams as well.
Yeah,
different
100%.
teams. If you've got your own budget and, I don't know, like a sales rep just bought something and the marketing team used something different, I could definitely see that being a problem as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
On top of all these tools, marketers have now got more channels than ever before to try and reach customers, which on the face of it seems like a good thing, but in reality, these channels have become oversaturated. From social feeds to our inboxes to text messages, we are bombarded at every turn. As a result, buyers aren't engaging with companies like they used to, and you can see this in the data. In 2020, 65% of Google searches ended up without a click, and the average blog shrunk by minus 1.64% in 2021. According to HubSpot's data, sales email response rates have plummeted by 40% compared to pre-pandemic rates. The channels companies have relied on to attract and engage customers are now oversaturated, pushing people out and the costs up. Buyers today are digitally drained and distrusting of companies with their data. Both of these shifts lead companies to being more disconnected from their customers than ever. They are struggling to cut through the noise to reach prospects and to build relationships with customers the same way they used to. They are coming they are coming to terms with the hard truth, which is that the old go-to-market strategies won't work in the new world. Is this something you've seen as well in terms of? I can see it from a sales point of view. From there, it's been like, what does it say, 40% down on the email response rates from sales. I definitely have noticed that.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to also consider is that, you know, software is there to solve that immediate purpose, right? But if you, let's not be doom and gloom about it, but let's talk about really where we're at. We're slightly going into a recession. You know, people are trying to scale back on software. People are not going in and acquiring services like they did do. So right now, if I was an organization, I would be looking at not just the go-to-market, but I would evaluate what software we have in the business, because right now we're looking to, you know, retain costs where we can, keep money within the business, keep cash flow healthy. And it might be that you brought in software 2 years ago, right, to solve that immediate problem. But if you're not, people aren't coming to solve that problem, so to speak. So let's say I have a piece of software to support me with like tenders, right? But if you find there's less tenders in the market now because people are slowing off in terms of like going to market for services as an agency, do we really need to keep paying that monthly recurring? Like, there's so much quick wins when you're looking at revenue and revenue operations when your business, when you come to regularly evaluating your tech stack as well. Not just the go-to-market of like acquiring new software, but having that open feedback loop of evaluating what you've currently got so that, you know, you're not paying for more than what you use essentially. Because it's easy to instill something, roll it out and forget about it and move on to the next one. Whereas actually it can kind of scale and become this behemoth within your overall tech stack.
Yeah, another thing that I've noticed, like we do the free portal audits for HubSpot users, which we'll come on to. I think it's one of the slides later. But one thing that often occurs, especially when I do the Sales Hub audits and speaking with prospects that way, they don't realize some of the features that they have. Yeah. One thing that always comes up is they don't realize they have meeting links and they're paying for Calendly. I've had that scenario. 40% of the audits is that a sales team is paying for Calendly and not using meeting links.
And I think that's another thing with technology, right? It's always developing, probably quicker than what you can keep up with it. And it's one, you've got to look at the cost benefit analysis to the organization, but you've also got to look at it from these pieces of software. As they move along, it may supersede what you initially brought in. So like, for example, you used a great example in HubSpot meeting links, right? So currently HubSpot's great. It has a lot of the products out of the box, which can support you with that. And, you know, Calendly as a tool is a leader in its market for kind of scheduling. But HubSpot's only continuously develop, and it might meet the needs of your organization that you had 6 months ago that allows you to alleviate that cost you initially brought in. So again, going back to that, like, how can you drive revenue? It's not just from new customers. It's also evaluating your current processes and technology as well.
Yeah, we actually have a resource for us, Meg. I don't know if you might want to share it in the chat panel as well, as where we do a tech stack audit. If anyone's interested, feel free to click that. I'm sure Meg can share that with you as well. And when it comes to response time for customers or potential customers, every second counts. Now, the data from Drift here shows that it's 5 seconds for a chatbot, 5 minutes on a phone call, 1 to 4 hours via social media, and 1 day via email. The one thing that surprises that is the 1 day via email.
I can't say I conform to that SLA usually, but
no,
but no, it's different, isn't it? It's like, it's different. The reasons you use channels differ in terms of how you're looking to source information, and I think that, you know, email as a channel now is oversaturated, right? You've got marketing in there, you've got your internal comms in there, you've got Johnny forwarding me nice webinars to watch in my free time. So it's hard, you know, to fight through the noise, and maybe that contributes to that kind of SLA. But like, I think the core thing from this slide is that, you know, I look at that slide and look at, do we fit within that, right? Is there an area, is there a channel we're either not on? Is there a channel that we are way above that in our SLA? And there might be some organizations in the chat that we don't know what our response times are. And that's common. And again, just because these are the averages in 2022, this is industry agnostic. And you might find that your industry approaches these mediums differently. Because if I'm working, for example, B2C, I might find that, you know, I'm less likely to email because I'm a retail provider, for example. But there's going to be more phone calls because I've got a customer service department. So again, take this with a pinch of salt. But I think the core message here is like, really look at this and evaluate where your organization performs. You're the expert within your company, and think about what's our approach to those channels. What software do we have? And are we fitting in line with those as well? What are our own SLAs and response times as well?
Yeah. And this is where conversational marketing comes into play. What do you think of when we talk about conversational marketing? Well, the term has been growing in popularity ever since 2015. It was a massive buzzword in 2019, though it has seen a slight dip in search engines in 2023. But the term conversational marketing is marketing that engages customers through dialogue, that puts the focus on interactions with customers via two-way communication in real-time conversations. Conversational marketing means much more that such things as chatbots, right? AI, SMS, email, social, and automation. With it, you can combine the real conversations throughout the customer lifecycle. It helps empower customers to interact on their own terms and on the right channel with the right message at the right time. As shown at the figures on the screen now, the benefits are clear to see. 67% better understanding of buyers and customers, 59% generate a greater volume of higher quality leads, and 48% more predictable engagement from leads and accounts. Does that fit with you? Is there any surprises within them?
No, I completely agree, and I think the proof's in the pudding when it comes to those numbers. I think I recently, was evaluating possibly moving my own bank account in my own personal life. I was looking at different providers. I wanted to move to an e-bank. I wanted more analytics because the natural tech person I am. Now, the challenge is I'm not going to call out the two brands that I went to, but two very, very big brands in their space in e-banking and fintech. One got back within 24 hours. The other one took more than 2 weeks to come back. I'll let people discuss which one they thought I went with.
What platform for each one?
Well, that's the thing, is buyers have so many different channels now. I went through a form, but then I also took one of the brands had, chatbot-based support, so I could get an immediate response. And I used multiple channels to get through the noise as well. So again, if you've not got those noise, you're probably losing out on customers like this brand lost with mine. Because time is scarce, just like it is for you and your organization. For the buyer, it is more so. They're coming to you with a problem that they need to solve. And sometimes, like myself, I don't have 2 weeks to solve it. I need it pretty instantly. It's the proof's in the pudding there. Like having those medium of channels, having that kind of array of platforms that your customers can speak to you and how you scale them will ultimately allow you to bring in more revenue you may not have seen.
Yeah, banking is actually a really good user case for all this because I went through a similar thing. I won't go into it now, but yesterday I was switching something with my bank as well, and it was very, very much on topic. Now that's enough from myself. I'm going to hand you over to our in-house whiz kid, HubSpot guru, and the newly crowned head of implementation, Samuel Banks.
Thanks for that, Johnny.
Sam, I'm going to stop screen sharing if you want to screen share yours. Oh, wow, I've just seen how many people are watching. That's really good.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah. You've put on quite the performance. All right, so in terms of what I'm going to be talking to you guys about, it's like we've talked about the landscape, right? We've talked about the need for having the right channel at the right time to the right people. But how can you actually take this theory away and implement this in your own portal? And really what I'm here to tell you is 5 tactics that I would suggest in how you can approach that as well. And the best part, all within HubSpot. So hopefully there isn't any kind of additional costs or considerations. These are things you could take away today, roll this out, and really maximize on how your buyers are converting. So in terms of what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give you an overview of a few different tools within HubSpot, mainly what we call the Conversations inbox, how that can be used. It is available to all plans in some capacity. So again, there's something for everyone in here. We're going to talk about how to use HubSpot to have a bit more of contextual conversations using points around chatbots like Johnny was referring to there with Drift and other leading providers. And then we're going to coming on to the big topic, right? How do we bring WhatsApp into our marketing mix? How do we really get in front of certain markets? I'm sure most people in this hook today is coming for the prospect of WhatsApp. I think most people have WhatsApp now. Can't remember the last time I did an SMS text message, which might show how young I am, if I'm being honest.
iMessage, though.
I'm not an Android. I'm not an Apple person. I'm strictly Android, which I get a lot of grief for, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk more about social as well. We're going to talk about like how do you get in front of your contacts in the right time on social media where people may go to vent, complain, find solutions, or just ultimately talk about your product or service. And then how do they all come together as one big finalized solution? So without further ado, let's get into it. So in terms of how to start conversational marketing, right? A lot of people on this call today or on this hug today are probably not going to, maybe don't have an approach to conversational marketing. Maybe you don't have a strategy, and that's completely okay. Conversational marketing's only been a theory. It's been around for, I want to say, a few years, but again, people are still developing and the market's moving. There's more channels than ever, as Johnny was rightfully alluding to. Now, the main thing that you want to be doing is making sure that your experience, your approach to conversational marketing is going to be efficient and effective for your end users, right? But that's not just for them. It also needs to be effective and efficient for you. You don't want to go and roll out live chat now if you've got no one to man it, right? You're going to do more harm than good. The other thing you need to consider is, okay, we roll this out. We do a conversational marketing strategy. How do we judge the success of that? Like, how do we know if it's working? There's all these channels. Who's going to actually report on it, right? So being able to go, okay, what is our core outcome from rolling out this strategy, right? Is it, oh, we need to get better at response times? How do we report on that in HubSpot? Is it, we need to have pipeline goals, new deals generated from a chatbot source? These kind of things you need to think about, because ultimately this is what's going to prove the success of your conversational strategy. And then the last thing, and if you take nothing away, if you ignore me for the rest of this hug, which is fine if you do, just take this one point away. Make sure it integrates. I can't tell you how many times we've inherited portals where they have a system, just a menial system, the heart of their business, that doesn't speak to their marketing or the sales platform. So please, please, please consider the integration elements of the software you're looking to acquire as well. So let's talk about the starting point of HubSpot. How does HubSpot bring correspondence and the conversations into its own tool? And the answer is the conversations inbox. And courtesy of the man, the myth, the legend, Cal Jepsen himself, we have a nice little meme there. Being the conversations inbox is one of the best HubSpot tools. Now, I'm going to be a bit controversial here and say it's probably not my best one, but it's definitely one of the most undervalued ones in the HubSpot kind of sphere as well. Because what the Conversations Inbox allows you to do is it allows you to bring all this rich data from all around HubSpot and pair that with the immediate query that you're actually getting within HubSpot. It allows you to generate leads from your messaging channels. It allows you to connect the right contact with the right agents on your side. So basically you allow someone, rather than working in an isolated Outlook inbox where you're just having loads of flurry of emails, you could have this in HubSpot and you could say, okay, if the query is on product A, it goes to customer success agent A. You can do routing all within this, whereas so many organizations, big and small, are actually still using Outlook to manage hundreds and hundreds of emails a day. Yeah. How do you manage that?
That's not scalable.
No, because if we took this into our example, let's say if we've got Danny behind the screen here, let's say if Danny was to email us and say, okay, I need help with my account. How do you know as an organization that I'm picking that up versus Johnny? How are you avoiding double work in there? And that's what the conversation inbox does, right? It allows you to really see collaboration within one central space. It also gives you that full picture as well. So being able to really kind of drill down into what does the conversation look like? And then what does the history look like, right? So if Danny was to email me or Johnny, we can see all the interactions Johnny's had with marketing, sales, and we can leverage that to make it a really meaningful conversation. And it's so overlooked because people are like, well, we've always done it in Outlook. That's great. But if we had that mentality, we'd probably be in the cars we're in today. We'd still be on horse and carriage, right? If we want to use that analogy. So the point is that a conversations inbox allows you to really create contextual conversations. And what that actually does is bringing other channels into the foray. So not just email, it can bring in chatbots, live chat, WhatsApp, it can bring in form submissions. It takes you away from an Outlook or Gmail-driven approach to managing customer success, sales, marketing, any function can use this, and brings in this flurry of channels into one place. With what Johnny was saying in terms of that MarTech map, that's just MarTech, that's marketing technology. It's not sales, it's not ops, it's just marketing. How do you have a system where you've got a team of people and saying, okay, Johnny, you're going to answer emails. Can you log into Gmail? Sam, you're going to be on live chat. Can you log into Drift? Danny, you're going to manage forms. Can you go into WordPress forms? you're isolating your team on all these different, and they're not going to speak to each other, which means that you end up repeating information, repeating messages, and spending more time ultimately on servicing customers when you could actually be offering greater value. And one way to do that, so one of the common queries that we get in this onboarding or HubSpot, which general chats that we have, is that that's great, but I don't have a team of 50 people. And the benefit is that HubSpot comes with chatbots, right? You can roll out a chatbot very simply, and you can use chatbots for loads of different kind of queries. And your approach to conversational marketing might be that we get so many questions asking us on our pricing. Okay, but what's the solution? Well, we've got a pricing page, but no one goes and looks at it. They just ring us. I get why they ring you, but ultimately we could probably solve quite a few of them, right? So why don't we create a chatbot that says, if they select pricing, here, have you seen our pricing guide? Would you like to book in a pricing call? So it takes the load off what your small team may be, or your already big one, to allow them to offer greater value in them other conversations. And I guess being an end user, taking it back to kind of the situation I was going through, like picking a bank, for example, I had all the resources. I was more educated. I was able to have the right conversation with the right person. So where someone took me from knowing absolutely nothing about the brand, by the time I was in front of a real person, I knew what I wanted. I knew what type of account I wanted. I knew when I wanted to move it. I knew how I wanted to. I'm not saying I'm a fintech expert. Like, this is not legal advice. But the point that I'm trying to say is that chatbots allow you to educate, sell, promotionally as well. It allows you to really get the right contacts in front of the right people at the right time.
Also pre-qualifies them in a way that in your
Exactly.
case study, it's almost pre-qualifying them.
Exactly.
In terms of what service they might need, or if that company is a good fit for them and what their needs are.
Yeah, exactly. And you can report on that, right? So if they go through a chatbot flow, you can actually see generally like what actions they've took, and you can report on it. So we disqualified X amount of leads, but we lost no hours on that because they didn't go in front of our tails, in front of our teams. Sorry. So really using chatbots to do these different purposes, whether it is how do we generate more traffic for SEO purposes, like to use a chatbot to help promote it. We want more people to go to our blog. We want to actually reach out to companies and form a relationship. So when they're on our website, we can actually reference the company information. Chatbots are great at helping your already scattered teams who might actually be struggling with workload. I think that's the key thing I want to get away from today, and are agnostic to function. So again, chatbots. Now, if chatbots can start the conversation, how does HubSpot scale it? And quite simply, you can see on screen here, there's a few examples of how HubSpot does that. So you can see from left to right, you can have a bot that allows you, and this is HubSpot's own bot, right? This is HubSpot themselves on their website. These are coming from the horse's mouth, so to speak. HubSpot use it to service, and they have different chatbots on different pages, right? So what they allow you to do is if I'm on the home page, it'll be more of a general bot, like what are you trying to do today? So it's pointing me down the right website journey, which is in the first screenshot. The second one is how do you then know who you're speaking to? Well, you can use chatbots for lead gen, right? You can generate contacts from chatbot. You can put that into your database. You can put them into ad read. There's so much you can do with it. And I guess I'm going back on what I said earlier about Kyle Jepson's favorite feature. It's quickly becoming mine with the passion that's coming through. But the other point is that the best part of this is that you can have a chatbot on different areas of your website to service different needs, right? So you can take someone from the homepage, profile them, get them to the right place, then goes into a pricing chatbot that allows them to really then find the product they're looking for. Then they go to a contact. It's like, who would you like to? You could even use it to put people based on people they want to speak to, right? So you could have like a meet the team chatbot, and you could actually route it through so that you're more likely to convert because they know more about that person. They're more willing to be open with them about their challenges and pain points. There's so much you can do. You can get really creative with this tool within your own portal as well. And I guess on the right side is like how that then works in practice, right? So you've got the conversation, the front end, and then the back end, you can just create your flowchart, right? You can just put your different steps in. You can get really creative. You can say, if this is variant A, then put down the variant A path. So really have a think about, and I think what I would really recommend is, I can't recommend these guys enough. There is a software called Miro. It really helps you. It's free. It lets you process map. You can start it today. It's great for collaboration. It's similar to Lucidchart, but without the learning curve. I stand by it. So if you've not started mapping out your website journeys, use that tool and then use it to map out chatbots as well. It's phenomenal. It's a really good tool to be using. So with that said, HubSpot can scale the conversation. But how do you start conversations that don't come through a chatbot? And the actual answer to that, in the theme of Valentine's Day, is the fact that HubSpot and WhatsApp are the perfect couple. They are the pair that is been so long wanted to put. It's like them two people that you knew would one day get together, and it's taken so long, and now they are. So let's talk more about that. So in terms of the WhatsApp integration, what you will need to set this up is you will need, first and foremost, a WhatsApp business account. So they are free. You can roll the one out. You don't need to pay for this. It will give you a separate app on the device that you choose to put it onto. So you can have a mobile phone, you can have all your team, and they can have the WhatsApp business. It is free. You can get it on the App Store, you can get it on Google Play, whatever device you may be sat on. The main thing to consider is WhatsApp is the communication method of over 2 billion people. And within that, I can assure you there will be a customer if you are consistent enough. So really, I guess neglecting WhatsApp is going to really kind of do you an injustice in the long term. Even if you connect it just to trial it, you're already ahead of the curve, right? I had to play around with it, and I'm going to show you some really cool things you can do with it. But ultimately, it allows you to talk to people where they are, manage and reply to any incoming message within the actual inbox as well. As you can see on the right-hand side, there is an example. Now, how that then comes together, right? So let's talk about how you would then connect that in your portal. So I'm gonna jump over into HubSpot at this point. So can everybody see my screen? I imagine we can.
Yeah,
yep,
I can see
all
it.
Good. So the first thing to consider is that you want to go into the conversation inbox of your choice, right? So if you go to the top, you have the area for conversations inbox. This is where we were talking about how do you consolidate information. Now, what you can then do is if you go to your settings area and scroll down the left-hand sidebar, you have the ability under tool-based settings to select inboxes. From here, you will then see your different kind of inboxes, and you can then press connect to channel. What you would then do is if you wanted to get WhatsApp, it's quite simple. You would select WhatsApp, and it would then prompt you for a WhatsApp business account. If you do not have a WhatsApp business account, that is okay. You can set one up in this process. So if I press continue, it would then prompt me to log in to a Facebook account like so. So because WhatsApp is owned by Meta, it needs a Facebook account. So make sure you're part of your Meta business manager. I can press continue like so. It will then basically say, do you want to create or select your meta? So I'm going to press get started. Again, it's just telling you what permissions it will do. So it'll be able to add phone numbers, account, billing, etc. If I then press continue, I can then select Fuelius. And there you go. There's a WhatsApp business already because it's been plugged into our meta. You can also create a new one, right? So you could create it from here. So you don't have to go and if you're scared of Meta, Meta's not the most accessible of platforms at times. You can actually do this all within the safety of HubSpot as well. So you can create that business profile. So log into Facebook, create your WhatsApp business account, or very much link a similar one. You can see here. So if anyone wants to obviously text us on our business account, we'll get back to you. You can see how this works on screen if you were to text in. I feel like a live show at this point.
I've got just Love Island. I've got a text going on in my head when you say that.
There we go. Danny, can we clip that, please? That is going to be great content afterwards.
I got a text.
There we go. So if we continue, you can see here that obviously we've created our WhatsApp business account. You can then select a number. So that is our business number. So we can select that here. I press continue. And then lastly, to finalize that, I would press OK. You can see here that you can get up to 250 business initiated conversations per phone number in every 24 hours. If you're above that, you'd need to talk to Meta around the product, but ultimately that is what you would do. Most people would fit within that framework, unless if you're a big organization like, let's say, Pretty Little Thing or something like that. Now, obviously here you can just press OK, that will finalize the setup. And then what that looks like is it will connect WhatsApp to your inbox and you will be able to receive WhatsApp conversations all within the inbox. As you can see on here, here's a conversation with myself just to demonstrate this. I promise I don't speak to myself as frequently as this. But what I can actually do is I can see the full transcript of the actual WhatsApp message, right? So we're on a hug. I can send a text message right now. So if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see here there's a transcript. All I'm going to do is on WhatsApp, I'm going to go and find it and go, hey, this is the HubSpot user group. I'm going to send that across. And what that should do is poof, we got an actual message, right? So it's in the inbox. We can actually see it. And the best part of it is one of the questions we often get is, okay, we've only got one phone. We've only got one phone. How are we going to do that in a team? The conversation inbox solves that, right? You can have a team of people manning this. So we could go back and go, hey, Sam, how can I help? I can press send. And in Johnny's words, I've got a text. So the point here is that I can now, as an end user, nothing changes for me. I'm just texting a business account. And the best part of this is if I was to send a voice note, for example. So if I just start this. There we go. So if I was to send a voice note, test, HubSpot user group, Sam and Johnny are great. I can send that. That's gone from my phone. And the best part of it is the voice notes, they're in HubSpot.
That is so cool.
It's cool, isn't it?
That
so
is
you
cool.
can actually now do reporting on voice notes. It's so cool. And the best part, and Johnny's going to hate me for this part, is let's say your customers are having a problem. Can you take a picture of it? So I'm going to take a lovely picture of Johnny in the studio. I'm not going to send that one. that one doesn't flatter you too much.
Hey.
So I've just sent that to the business account. Apologies to Meg for putting this into our portal, but you've got a nice bit of social content here.
Let's have a look.
There we go.
Great.
We've
Thanks,
got
mate.
multimedia in the inbox. It's great. And it allows your teams to really kind of pull that together as well. And I guess the point that we're trying to raise here is that, okay, how does this all come together, right? So I can click onto Samuel Banks' record. I can collaborate. So I could say Hugh, for example, or Meg, or anyone in this inbox. So I'm going to tag you. Love the picture. Like so. I can press add a comment. There we go. We can collaborate internally. And that doesn't go to the end user. So you could say, this person is giving me grief. This person needs to speak to a different team. We can also move it to another inbox. So if this is the wrong, so let's say if we have a refunds inbox or we have like a customer success, we can move it and we can select another inbox and another team to manage that with all the information we've captured today. So it's great. It's really, really powerful. Now, how does this work for marketing teams, you ask? Well, let's go on to the contact record. Would you look at that? The conversation may get closed, but I've got a full transcript of everything that was said on WhatsApp. So the marketing team have full visibility of everything that's been said, the full transcript. That's stored on the contact. So while the conversation may go into an abyss, because obviously you're going to get hundreds of those, the contact record won't. You can actually go in and really kind of take great power from that as well. Now, one last treat on the WhatsApp. How do you then use this to scale your marketing, right? So this is for customer service, sales, even marketing to an extent with the inbox. But what you can do is if you go into where you have conversations, templates, you have an area called WhatsApp, right? You can set up templates, WhatsApp templated messages that get approved by Meta. If we click into it, we can create segmented messages. So we could say, for example, if someone messages the WhatsApp business number, I want to send a nice holding statement to them that's on brand. So I've got, hey, Johnny, thank you for getting in touch with, hi, I'm Johnny, thank you for getting in touch with Fuelius. We'll get back to you in 24 hours. In the meantime, have you got a portal audit? There's a video that they could play. And I could also press a big CTA to go and claim my portal audit. So you can use it for lead gen.
That's amazing.
Right? It's good, isn't it? And the point is how this all comes together is when you're building those workflows, right? So you can go into the workflows area. It just gives you more functionality, right? So they fill in a contact form. They're not already a customer in the sales process. Set Johnny as the owner. Send a WhatsApp message to them. So you could use it. So they haven't spoke to us on WhatsApp before, but we're using it as a marketing mix to diversify our marketing strategy. And this is basically how it all comes together. This is how WhatsApp can revolutionize your approach. And the point is, if you have Marketing Pro, you can go away and connect that today. It's super simple. A lot of people are daunted by it, but it gives you so much kind of power in that as well. You'll be pleased to know we're going to go back to the safety of slides at this point. So no more flicking around HubSpot, but hopefully people saw value in that as well. So let's kind of wrap up, right? So let's talk about how this all comes together. So one of the questions I often get is Facebook still relevant in 2023? Well, one of the points here is that Facebook is now Meta. So Meta is very, very much still relevant. And if I just make sure that it's sharing like so, let me just make sure I come back out of this and share window, this one here. Yep, all good. So one of the questions I get is Facebook still relevant in 2023? Well, the question is, yes, of course it is. I mean, everything I just demonstrated, I have to do through WhatsApp and Facebook as a continuum, right? So one of the things that you can actually do is you can bring Facebook bots into your chat bots. So in Facebook, you will find that people will reach out to you via Facebook. Now, what you can actually do is set automated strings or automated sequences. So if Johnny was to get in touch about his order from, where do you shop nowadays for your overlayers? Any retailer of choice?
Oh, I'm dead old school, man. TK Maxx.
TK Maxx. Let's say we're TK Maxx in this example. So Johnny wants an update on his TK Maxx order. He goes through Facebook. We don't have the manpower to give Johnny the answers he wants. We can actually create a Facebook bot all within the conversations inbox. So we can actually say, okay, when Johnny reaches out to Facebook, bring our Facebook messages into the conversations inbox as well. All with all the automated sequences you can do. So again, Facebook doesn't have to be this isolated channel you push social at. You can bring it in for lead gen as well, just like you would with a chatbot. So again, we've covered a few channels here. We're centralizing, we're solving a lot of pain points in terms of how do you get visibility on all where your customers are asking you questions. But again, the beauty of this, you can assign messenger chats, you can report on them, and create chatbots for your Facebook business page as well. So here's a question for you all. Something to really think about is, do you know what people are saying about your brand? And what you can actually do is use the social inbox tool for really kind of pulling this all together. Now, one of the overlooked areas of social is we use it for social publishing in HubSpot. One of the other things that you can do is you can create social streams or using social listening. And social listening as a concept allows you to find keywords that people may be saying, whether it's about a service, your brand, something you want to go after, and surface those basically social posts into an isolated stream of messages in the Facebook social tool, in the HubSpot social tool. So you could actually say, when someone mentions my brand, I want that to pull in so I can engage with them, right? So I can actually, on top of someone, whether it's a negative or a positive engagement, I can jump on as a really reactive and proactive brand when it comes to social as well. So identify interaction generating content, responding to social conversations, and gathering intelligence about new followers as well. And how do you keep that conversation going? Well, all right, so we've got all this data coming into HubSpot. How do we then follow them around the web? Let's do some ads. So let's talk about ads. So you can actually use the HubSpot ads tool to do retargeting all within the same platform. So you could actually say, okay, create a campaign. Someone falls onto a list, which we already have for like marketing emails or something like that. Then they automatically get retargeted with an ad as well. So you can actually use the ads tool to build custom lists to target different stages of the journey, and then retarget them with relevant content as well. So you could say in the conversations inbox, I've marked them as a lead that have come in via WhatsApp. They fall into my lead list and then start to get retargeted with HubSpot ads based on the conversation they've had.
I've spoken to a few clients recently that have been particularly impressed with the HubSpot ads because they're on about, because obviously with the economy the way it is right now, shrunken budgets, they really want to start utilizing that budget in a very targeted way. And retargeting contents they already have in their system, or already interested in their products, is a win-win.
Absolutely. And it's cheaper, right? You're not going after the masses. You're going after targeted people you already know. So it's much cheaper to get in front of those people as well. So again, a cost-saving benefit for any organization. Now, the big part, the big finale. How do all these different tactics come together as well? So let's give you an example journey, right? So let's say a prospect views my pricing page. Johnny being the prospect.
Me.
That's Johnny. There is then a chatbot on my pricing page that's going to capture Johnny's phone number and what products he's interested in. He enters HubSpot. Great. We've got a record for him. What do we then do with it? Well, a couple of days later, he falls into a workflow based on create date is a lead who've had an interaction with a chatbot. Send a WhatsApp message. So 3 days later, Johnny gets a nice message from my business on WhatsApp. A week later, based on that engagement, he falls onto a list saying positively reacted with my WhatsApp sequence. He then falls into my HubSpot ads retargeting. So he's then searching for his next TK Maxx steal of the week. And he finds ads following him around saying, you spoke to X. How was your engagement? Or something like that. Or are you still thinking about product X? He comes back to my website. We can then create a chatbot because it's a repeat visit to then pop up, go, hi again, Johnny. Did you want to chat? Were we talking about insert list name? Johnny's like, yeah, of course we are. I want to speak to someone right now. I really want to buy. And that is how you start to create a blueprint for conversational marketing. And granted, there's a lot of technology there. There's a lot of considerations to be had. There's a lot of tools, a lot of cool things you can do. But how do you start to put this together? So the guys, the marketing team at Fuelius have put together the conversational marketing blueprints. And what this will allow you to do is really start to map out how all these tools come in together as one. I cannot confirm nor deny you will go through that sequence that I just went through, but it's an example, right? So you could actually take really good value in tying all these tools together in terms of how it comes through. And with that said, I'll hand over to Johnny to handle questions.
Thank you so much. That was so impressive to see it all in action, Sam. So well done.
Appreciate that.
Well done. If you are interested in that resource, Meg has just kindly shared the link for you to do so, the conversational marketing blueprints, so feel free to grab that. Moving on to the Q&A part of the session today, does anybody in the audience have any questions? You may have. I'm just going to click through to the Q&A part to see if there's any questions for Sam here. From Simon, can you bring WhatsApp CTAs into emails to engage users reading emails on mobiles, for example?
Good question. So currently, as of right now, so that button you saw on the WhatsApp message is limited to you using that in just WhatsApp-based actions within workflows. You can't pull that into a normal marketing email, so to speak, but you can definitely create lists based on engagement with WhatsApp interactions. So you could, in theory, have a CTA that's smart, even an email that's only shown to people that engage positively with a WhatsApp message. So you can get creative with it, like with smart content and stuff like that. But can you just use a WhatsApp CTA within an email? No. The other way to answer that is if you're asking more from a perspective of, can I send an email that prompts them to go to WhatsApp? Yes, you can. You could initiate a conversation. I believe there are URLs that you could open and start an immediate chat with the business.
Great. Another one from Owen here. Are bots the only way to get social messages into conversations inbox inside of HubSpot?
It's a good question. So the answer is no. You don't have to just use bots to get into conversations email. You can have a team email address. You can have live chat. You can have form submissions. You can have WhatsApp message. So all those, when I was doing the demonstration, you saw like the 4 nice logos at the start when I was clicking WhatsApp. They're your kind of mediums of how you can start to generate conversations within your own portal.
Brilliant. Another one from Abdul. Are there any GDPR restrictions using WhatsApp for business? Great one.
That is a very, very good question. What I would definitely defer that to is definitely have a look at your privacy policy and your data handling policy. Ultimately, if you update your privacy policy to say that we may get in contact with you over WhatsApp and different other marketing channels that then you list out, and they've opted in and they've agreed to that, which your privacy policy and your GDPR settings, you've kind of covered yourself. But again, I'm not a legal expert, so if you ever want to run compliance-based questions, always go to a legal advice or expert on that matter.
Brilliant. One for the ads part. Can these ads be targeted to other properties in HubSpots too, i.e. life cycle stage and persona? One from Xander there.
So life cycle stage, yes. You'll see when I was doing the ad retargeting, I could pick life cycle stage. The only other way you can do it is targeting a list. But if you remember, a list can be based on any field. So just create a list based on the field you want to target, and then you base the ad retargeted on that list, if that makes sense.
Yeah, brilliant. That's all I have for now for the questions. Feel free to pop any questions now. Now's your chance while we have Sam on the session today to ask him anything to do with conversational marketing or anything else around HubSpot. He is pretty much a HubSpot guru. Yes, we got one in from Karen. Do you need a mobile for WhatsApp? We use, I think it's Cisco Jabber, so have a landline number for each rep.
I believe you will need a mobile phone number to set up the app. However, if the appetite is to purely manage the inbox within HubSpot, you would basically just purchase a phone number, for example, a mobile format and then just connect that to the conversations inbox. You wouldn't ever have to use that number. It's just there to kind of create your initial WhatsApp business account. But I believe it is a mobile phone number that is required. But I could be wrong there.
Yeah, brilliant. Just having a last minute check. Yeah. Do you have any advice for using WhatsApp for B2B sales?
Yeah, 100%. So HubSpot has some great account-based marketing tools within the actual suite of products. So you could say, for example, if this company is on my targeted list, enroll them into a workflow. If they then positively receive the initial email, send another email saying we're going to have someone reach out on WhatsApp. And you could actually make it look like, for example, a person is reaching out as part of a WhatsApp message as well. So basically the ABM tools work in conjunction with WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is purely a tool. How you look to use it, your limit is your creativity.
Brilliant. I think that's it for now. Just let me have a little, I said thanks. I think that's it for now. If you wouldn't mind moving to the next slide.
Yep.
Okay, for those that don't know, we at Fuelius offer a free, no obligation portal audit, which I mentioned previously. Now, this report is exclusive to your specific business, and it includes actionable insights and recommendations, features or approaches you might be missing, a roadmap for quick wins to get the most out of HubSpot, and an overview call with one of our HubSpot experts. I would highly recommend this free offering to anyone looking to kick off 2023 on the right foot with a new HubSpot strategy. And before you go, as mentioned before, we have this giveaway today. Here's your chance to win that £20 Amazon gift card. The fastest correct answer wins. We're making it easier for you with some answers below. Choose from when was the first chatbot? Was it, without looking at the screen, look at when was the first chatbot, Sam? Because there's answers already flying in. Was it 1987, 1966, 2005, or 1999?
I'm really on the spot here. I'm going to be logical. I want to say 2005, but I don't know. Again.
Wrong.
Wow.
The answer was B.
No.
1966. The same year that England won the World Cup. Can you imagine that?
Trivia for you.
Let's have a look at the answers here. Who was the fastest to get B? I think it was Nido Communications Office. So we'll have to, Nido, if you wouldn't mind saying who you are. I imagine that's a company. But Nido Communications Office will get you an email and we'll send out that Amazon gift card to you after today's session. Well done. And I think that is it for today. Thank you for coming. We hope to see you. I think we're yet to release the date for our next hug, but it's most likely going to be in April. We will send out, of course, an email for you to come to that. We don't know what the topic is yet, but we'll be sure to let you know. But bye from us. Sam, do you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it as always.
See you guys.
Take care.
I feel like this is where the news mute off now.
No, we don't have
should
any paper.
Some paper and be like, have a little chit chat in silence.
That would be great. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Hope you took something valuable away from today.